All right, we got a self-essential video. We're talking about where is One Punch Man Season 3? I don't know. What's happening, bro? It's supposed to come out fall 2025. Viz Media recently re-uploaded the trailer that happened a couple months ago. The one where we actually did get to see characters and a little bit of animation. Just a little bit, though. And a lot of people were like mid, and only one person was behind it. I don't know, man. JC staff better be cooking with this, and I hope we got a huge announcement coming. I think there is like a significant event coming this summer. I don't know exactly what event it is. Some sort of anime expo adjacent event, right? Maybe they're gonna do a huge announcement then. Oh.
WTF? What's WTF?
What the fuck?
Where's the fire? Where's the fire?
Now you might think,
What the hell kind of ASMR content is this, bro? You know what? It's kind of funny. At least she's not doing a blowjob simulator like, you know, some of the other ASMR content that's out there. She's just rubbing a tinfoil over the mic.
now you might think, Sinchi, why are you milking One Punch Man Season 3?
Money? Views? Are you stupid? Is that a redundant question?
I mean, you've made like 1, 2... Oh wait, that's it? One Punch Man Season 3 has
I say there isn't enough milking of One Punch Man Season 3. Give me more.
nothing to talk about. Why am I even making this video? Well, I haven't talked about the newest trailer that was 2 months ago.
Alright.
With 4 months to go, we still haven't gotten any real footage from the actual Season 3. All of the trailers have been pre-animated and animated by one person. Of
Remember, pre-animation means that the staff working on that pre-animated trailer is not, it's not a guarantee that they will be the same people doing the actual anime. That's why whenever you hear pre-anime trailer, you should take caution, right? Do not get your hopes up. I think Classroom of the Elite had a lot of those situations happening before.
course, most of you know that the first trailer / PV
JC Staff Guy
was
did it.
animated by Kenichiro Aoki
Yeah,
himself, and the newest one is by Kazunori Ozawa. I'll get more in depth on this one since I haven't talked about it. Kazunori Ozawa is an animator that just goes everywhere. Literally
I mean, yeah, these are a lot of different seasonal animes that I recognize. We got Loser Ranger, Mushoku Tensei, MHA over here. There is Days of My Stepsister, 2.5D Ririsa, Senpai wa Otokonoko for the opening. This guy truly is just there's even Nier, I think, on the side over here.
everywhere. Literally everywhere.
What does
Most
everything?
Of the time, only contributing little stuff.
Literally, like, look at this. Solo Leveling, the Hokkaido Girls Gal anime, Apothecary Diaries, Kingdom of Ruins. Bro, this guy, unlucky, unaware unluck or whatever, I forget, Shangri-La Frontier. This dude does every seasonal bullshit like me.
Stuff like animating effects or just effects animation directing. He has very
Okay.
good connections with JC stuff. His latest work with them is 2.5D, and his most contribution recently for the studio is Seven Bladers. But more importantly to note, Ozawa is mainly an effects animator, not saying he can't do anything else. That would be stupid for someone to join the industry that can just only draw effects. Ozawa
Yeah.
also supervised
He just like specializes in effects. Okay.
the first trailer that Aoki animated, and Ozawa animated the whole second PV. He was asked to make a PV for some weird reason.
I was asked to make a PB, so this time I did the animation supervision since it was a character. I think I worked harder than usual. I feel kind of bad. A lot of people were shitting on the trailer saying, wow, it lacks any sort of significant movement. I feel like this guy kind of got put in this thought, and the studio basically said, listen, we gotta pump out some sort of new news. We have been marketing One Punch Man like garbage. It's literally coming up. We need to pump something out. And then this guy, I think, just delivered a cut. I see the comments of people saying just because one person did it doesn't mean that the quality should be justified. I'm not saying that the trailer should be, you know, it's something to be like praised at. I'm just saying understand the circumstances that led to the trailer and you'll realize why it feels limited.
And yeah, the final product was not the best looking thing
King walking is so funny to me. Look how much swagger he has.
for some weird reason. And yeah, the final product was not the best looking
Look at that swag.
thing compared to the first one. It was still frames,
Yep.
Child Emperor looking like he has that TikTok filter where you have to like blink
Yeah.
to stop from falling down. King's walk like in between.
Look at that King walk, bro.
When Rin and Shido was fighting in that one episode. I mean, this is what happens when you
There was also the complaint made about Blackshine, right? Having like basically him posing in two separate scenes and it was just like inverted images. I still think that it's efficient, smart, because there was no significant movement. But yeah, you can kind of see that there are signs of time constraint, poor scheduling, poor resource management, maybe one person trying to just pump out, you know, a deliverable that it's a task that just got given to him unfairly.
Get a guy who specializes in effects to animate character focused stuff, and he probably got rushed to finish it. It is crazy how bad One Punch Man Season 3 looks.
This is not good.
And I'm not talking about the trailer and shit. These trailers are not gonna correlate to how the season will look. I mean, if you look a bit closely, the second one visually looks a bit different compared to the first one because Ozawa probably directed it too. It's pretty bleak how involved Ozawa was for the second one. Did he only do animation or did he actually directed it? My guess that he also directed it. Solo key animation episodes can feel a bit different depending on who's doing who. Take Soul Leveling Season 2 Episode 7, Solo key animated by Mitsuaki Hori, but it still looked like Solo Leveling.
And there was also Witch Watch happening this season. It was the episode where Moi and Nico, you know, went on that field trip, and there was like the school legend under a tree. If you do the confession episode, a lot of people were like complaining how janky the episode looked because it was also, I think, a solo key animation. I thought that the style was unique and distinct from the other episodes, but nowhere did I think that it looked jank. I thought it would look fine.
Because there's other animation directors and chief ADs that corrects them to make them look like the design sheet. A different one is with Witch Watch episode
Literally what I just said. I'm on top of my shit, kind of.
6. If you've watched it, it looks different design-wise compared to any of the episodes because Oshima didn't just solo key animated it, she also directed the episode and animation directed it herself. She was given full range to make her raw drawing style on display because there's no other ADs beside her. Or it can be like episode 9 of Debate! Solo key animation by the outsourced studio.
Shout out to Lil Xiaoyi. Unikawa outsource. It is crazy, bro, that Debate, Studio ACAT, they outsource every episode, and this one was solo outsource. Solo outsource is crazy work. Shameless. So shameless. They have no shame. They're proud of the CG abominations. Remember in Tibet, anytime we got like monsters and shit showing up, like mounds, like Sylvia's face or like the forest hounds with the beady eyes, they always show it extra. They're like, yeah, look, Studio ACAT, we can only do 3D CG stuff. Look at it.
Yo. The marketing for the show is
bad.
Not really good. The lack of information or even visuals.
I wonder if there is such a thing called anti-marketing. As in, rather than doing the traditional marketing of plentiful trailers and social media communications to rally up the community and get them talk about it, it's just like the absence of marketing. How everything is a disaster, how content creators then talk about the disaster. This also is, in a sense, a form of marketing for the content. It's just not the type of marketing you'd want. This is basically, we're dooming. This is negative marketing.
For the show is non-existent basically, forcing out pre-animated trailers twice. The key visual looks horrible. It really looks like the hero visuals all zoomed out at the background and slap all the heroes there. Nice. DC Stuff is known to pick up a lot of projects, and the team that's probably going to pick it up is the same team that did season 2, being Atsushi Fujishiro. His last anime job is Seven Bladers, which
it looked pretty good, not gonna lie. I feel like the Reign of the Seven Spellblades had stunning moments. The crazy plot twist, I don't want to spoil anything, but it has some significant moments. I think it was like episode 7 maybe. The only complaints I'll have with this anime is how they baited us with such an amazing premise with the plot and then gave us fucking gender studies and biology for the rest of the season.
Aired in summer 2023, so the team is not...
Summer 2023 is crazy. 2 years ago I covered this, huh? We had to drop it later on because, again, the whole... Like, it's crazy just how everyone was so talking about that one episode with the plot twist, and then afterwards, it's just... dead.
Doing anything right? Right? No, Annalist just doesn't update their shit. Fujishiro was animated for 2.5D Magi Rumiere, although that was a co-production between JC Staff and Studio Moe. They also did the CG for season 2 OPM, and also with a show that's currently airing right now, Boy Girl Friendship.
Yeah.
So they're still being a sussy little baka.
Himari's face in that episode, she was making a lot of interesting faces, man. I think JC Staff, obviously, this anime doesn't need a lot of movement, right? It's just slice of life interactions. I think it looks fine for what it is.
Even if you disregard the different teams in JC stuff, most of their work is reliant on their in-house staff. So if they pick up a lot of projects, then there's gonna be a lot of overlapping. They can do it if you give them an appropriate amount of time, but
This is
they
Yu-Gi-Oh?
didn't have that for
What
season
the
2.
fuck
Again,
is
JC
this?
stuff only
Damn! This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game The Chronicles. It's a PV by JC Style. Okay, PV obviously wants to go harder. This was a crazy scene.
an appropriate amount of time, but they didn't have that for season 2.
This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Ain't Yu-Gi-Oh! Card games? With that Michael Jackson Diddy looking guy inviting kids to his private island and playing card games? Why is there why does this look like Ninja Kamui?
Again, JC stuff only had 6 months to produce season 2.
But Shinji, that's
Bald.
impossible. Soul Leveling had 10 to 12 months to animate.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It took 20 years to make Solo Leveling, God. Did you know? It took 20 years to make both seasons. 20 plus years to make Solo Leveling, if you don't know. Bro, Solo Leveling the author hasn't even created the work 20 years ago. It's just a stupid fucking metric that makes you think that only one thing can happen at a time. A lot of different things go on to this, and obviously this is a very exaggerated claim.
An episode.
Of course, if you take that at face value, you're not gonna understand the full picture. Fucking retard. Samuel Dietz explained it a bit more.
Yeah.
He's the director for Castlevania.
Okay, what'd he say? Hold up. Let's see. This is pretty similar to Castlevania. The trick, of course, is you have several teams working on multiple episodes at once. Exactly. These things aren't happening linearly. These are things happening in parallel. And as each department finishes their role on an episode, they roll into a later episode into the season to help the other episodes when they're done. So typically a key animation team isn't working on a single episode for 10 months or whatever. They spend X number of weeks on one episode, submit their work, move on to a later episode, spend X number of weeks, rinse and repeat. The schedule typically looks like a color set of stairs. Right over here, right? You get to see the same color codes are the episodes being worked on and how things don't have to work, linearly. So that's kind of why people will, misunderstand this claim that, oh, it took a 10 to 12 months for one episode. Not really.
He's the director for Castlevania, if you didn't know. Another concern that most people have is they haven't announced who is the director. One of the most important person for an anime on how a show will visually look. And I will say this, I'm 90%
Pikachu.
sure they are hiding the director. Why?
How do you know this? Source, trust me. I don't know. Maybe they got a GOAT director that they're hiding and they're going to give a bombshell announcement to, give confidence to the audience in this upcoming Anime Expos in the summer.
The director? Why? Your mom. Because the most evident thing is the new additions for the character designers. There's 2 new people in that role.
Okay. So if we look at what Ryosuke Shirokawa and Shinjiro Kuroda has done, maybe we can do some detective work and look at what other projects that they've worked on with a specific person, and that specific person, right? The common denominator could be the director.
That also drew the hero visuals. And Chikashi Kubota, I don't know if he will actually participate. We hope. But here's the deal. When making a team from scratch, the animation producer picks who's doing who, and the first person you should choose is the director, because again, they are the one that is in control on how the show will look. It's up to
Yeah, and the director also would have the clout and the networking and to pull in other talents to work under, right?
them if they want to be experimental with the visuals or not. It's also how good they are executing the style. I think they are not revealing it for reasons. One being maybe they want to hide it because Twitter tards will say dumbass shit to them because
Maybe.
that happened in season 2.
Yeah,
or 2.
for sure.
I don't know. It could
Or 2, crazy marketing, right? Just kind of building up anticipation and volatility of the uncertainty, and you never know. They might just come up with a crazy person, man.
be the same director from season 2, or it can be Shingo Natsume. I don't know. Although he hasn't worked on anything in like 3 years.
Uh-oh.
Maybe. I mean, people are saying that he's working on something, but don't get your hopes up. Season 1 was an amalgamation of the top animators and directors working on one project. So have your
Looks so
expectations
good.
low. I'm not saying it's impossible, but considering it's JC stuff, it's not gonna be as good as One Punch Man Season 1.
Yeah, but can I just, I don't know. I'm not asking for a season 1. I'm just asking for like Danmachi quality, right? I'm asking for railgun quality. Can we have that for One Punch Man Season 3? would JC staff be willing to, I don't know, allocate their in-house staff that works on priority projects like that to One Punch Man? Shouldn't One Punch Man deserve that kind of priority?
Yes, there are better looking shows than OPM season 1, but most of them got handicapped because of the terrible scheduling. And also, it's just that a lot of talent now are scattered across working on their own shit. But another positive in the industry currently is the more
WebGen animators, right? Twitter animators.
worldwide talent, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
There has been a surge of non-Japanese animators making a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Even some that is considered to be the best animator ever.
And this is a trend that's been happening thanks to, I think, maybe not limited to, but One Piece, right? Isn't Toei Animations, the studio, the producers deciding that they are willing to take on non-traditional forms of talent rather than like carefully curated in-house talent or local Japanese animators, like worldwide international talent, and then pulling up and they're like, you know what? We should just base this off of meritocracy. These dudes know how to fucking work.
William Jiang, but that's other people's opinion. There's more talent to
Wei Lin Zhang is the best animator right now.
some that is considered to be the best animator ever.
Ever.
William Jiang, but that's other people's
I mean, it looks good. The scenes that I'm seeing right now, things are fucking moving, man. It looks smooth.
opinion. There's more talent to be had in today's age, but of course there's negatives and positives to it. The obvious negative is the lack of training that these new animators have. They don't even understand the fundamentals. That also leads to more work for people like the animation directors or even animation producers and
Yeah.
production assistants.
The lack of a proper standardized onboarding session, some sort of like pipeline of talent acquisition. People just kind of learn shit by themselves, and sometimes like maybe this is not the best example, but I feel like a lot of self-taught people don't understand the simple stuff, but will be able to do like really advanced stuff, right? Random tangent, me playing ping pong. I have no fundamentals or foundations, but I saw one of these craziest Chinese backhand serves where you toss that shit up, you fucking whoosh, and then the backspin will spin such that if you hit it in the traditional way, it'll always go down on the ground and just bounce out. That's like an advanced technique that no beginner should ever be doing, but I just started doing that because I was like, fuck it, I want to ball out at this, internship and flex on the ladies. That was pretty much it. So I did it, and I got the serve. But that's like an advanced technique, but I don't know how to do the fundamentals. Take that example here. A lot of the Twitter webtoon animators, they know how to do crazy Zakuga stuff, but maybe not necessarily some of the low-level fundamental stuff that anyone else could be able to do.
Then it's really hard to keep track considering there's more than 100, 200 people working on an episode. So if some animators are not working in the building or somewhere near that, you have to stay in contact with multiple people if they're done with their work or not.
Yeah, that's kind of like a limitation with work from home, or like people working from different parts of the country rather than everyone being in one office where obviously communication and collaboration is easier.
And it's even worse if there's more people in an episode because they need to rush it, so more people are involved. There is positives like One Piece where these new young talent get to showcase what they can do, or even like ReZero Season 3.
Yeah.
Not in the same way as One Piece. Season 3 had a big gap between Season 1 and 2.
8 years,
it's just
man.
how the industry changed that people like
Wait a minute. Actually, this is ReZero Season 3. It did not come out in 2024. Season 1 came out in 2026, 2016. And then this is where you say, rage baited retard, you have now engaged with the content. I got you. Kyoka Suigetsu.
it's just how the industry changed that people like Vincent Chanzard, Hamil, Waters, Hoodie Boy can work on Season 3.
Hoodie Boy!
because that's just how the industry flow
That's a
nowadays.
crazy name.
Very reliant on Twitter animators. Unlike Season 1, which had more quote-unquote well-known animators in Japan, like Hiroyuki Takashima, Hironori Tanaka, Kota Sugawa, Ko Yoshinari. Of course, there's more to it with the studio, like with the whole White Fox collaborating with Egg Firm to make Studio Mine, and some of the animators I just mentioned.
Oh,
went
the
there
MT
too.
scene,
Or
bro.
another factor like Tsunaki Yoshikawa, who animation produced some of the more well-known shows in White
Isekawa
Fox.
Ji-san.
I'm talking about
Steins Gate. Goblin Slayer. Katanagatari. There's some crazy ass shows here, man.
ReZero2 also left White Fox to establish his own studio, Atelier Pont Dark, where
Yeah, that's
also
about
some of
right.
the talent got attracted to work on his show, like Isekai Oji-san. It is really worrying the amount of news we have for One Punch Man Season 3. is non-existent besides Viz acquiring OPM Season 3.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Them re-uploading the trailer was just that. They're like, we got official rights to it. Here it is, but so what though? This doesn't really make any difference for the consumer.
I don't know what that means, considering it's gonna air in 4 months. I really hope they delay it to like early 2026.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not enough time.
Imagine the acquisition by Viz officially is like creating a pressure for them to deliver in fall 2025 no matter what. So the delaying option is no longer possible because of Viz. I don't know, just schizo theories.
But it's something. There's going to be a booth for One Punch Man in Anime Expo
Yeah,
2025.
that's what we're looking forward to, right? Next month. Oh my god, I can already imagine the smell at that expo, bro. You'll never catch me in an anime expo anyways. Maybe they drop a huge bombshell announcement. I hope so, hopefully. I hope they release some Classroom of the Elite stuff, I'm not gonna lie. I might care a little bit more about Classroom of the Elite anime news rather than One Punch Man.
So maybe we'll get more information or an actual trailer in early July. If you guys like this video, leave a like.
If you
hate
did it, leave a like.
Comment down below what your thoughts on the
Let's read some of the comments. I'm just glad that didn't happen to Mob. Yeah, Mob Psycho completed so well, man. I just hope One Punch Man comes back somehow. Sure. Hope 0%. Faith 100%. Gonna be an absolute shit show when nothing gets revealed at Anime Expo. Well, if nothing gets revealed at Anime Expo, Shinji can make another video about it, and then I can farm it, and we keep eating as content creators. From what I know, Season 3 will be a lot better than Season 2. Not Season 1 good looking. How do you know? Not that far from the least from the info I got. For example, the reason the PB was because the main or none of the main production committee of Season 3 is the same for Blue Lock Season 1, where they did the exact same thing for Blue Lock, which is releasing PB randomly just like that with a little more finished composition. Okay. Somewhere. Okay. Japan is crazy for pranks. Imagine getting all of your hopes down and being blessed with the masterclass animation at the end. And you know what? I think that this comment is interesting because of the whole, when you glaze and hype shit too much, the bar of expectation gets raised too high where it can never be met and people will be disappointed no matter what. That's what happened with Season 2 One Punch Man because of how good Season 1 was. So do you think that maybe they are trying to do the least in terms of marketing? That doesn't really make sense. Like, why would you ever do that? It's just bad business. But there is a line of thought where they're trying to just have no bar of expectations. They're trying to lower it and have everyone thinking it's over and then just show up with something great and people will think it's peak and comparatively. I just don't feel like that's good business at the end of the day, right? Intentionally capping yourself and fucking up the marketing, which is so important to get the hype going, and then just pulling up with a good show. That's a bold move, man. We'll see. If we don't get 24 episodes, I will crash out. Yeah, I think that... No, you know what? I think that it might be better if we don't get 24 episodes. Because if you don't know about this current arc, the Garo saga, the hero hunting saga, it is probably the most compelling arc for me and probably the longest saga. So trying to complete it in the context of one season is a bad idea because if we had Season 1 quality for the entire arc, then I would say, yeah, pump that shit out. But right now, it doesn't feel that way, right? I feel like we are kind of going in scuffed. Therefore, I hope it's not 24 episodes so that the future shit, which is going to be the climax of the Garo arc, will be handled in a better way. Anyways, that's pretty much it for me. Please check out Shinji's video. Give it a like. Bang, bang, bang. Check out his channel for more production value content, and I'll see you next time.